How's it, brother?
What's up, my man?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
It's Easter Monday. Um,
Yeah. Sure.
did you ever hear of Easter Monday?
Yep. Yep.
You really, honestly?
Yep. Actually, well, I saw that on the calendar today, but
Yeah,
I remember
exactly. Yeah, I saw on
maybe
my calendar today. I don't remember seeing that before. Definitely Easter Sunday, but I was kind of surprised when I saw Easter Monday. I was thinking, wow, that's pretty cool.
not celebrate, but it's
Rhonda
just
Morris, you're welcome, Rhonda Morris. If you want answers, go to the people that have the answers, which is Mel and Charlie.
I told her you saw my pictures I posted up for Rhonda Morris. I just told
Yeah,
her go to that, just follow the thing
yeah,
will take you right. Yeah.
yeah. And you gotta really believe these people. And guys, oh man, thank you guys for jumping on so early. Holy moly! But
Yeah.
Charlie and Mel, uh, total IQ, not that much, but
Yeah.
we learn from people that have the high IQs. You see, we rely on the experts.
Yeah.
That is why we can answer your questions, Rhonda. Today alone, I had, besides yours, I had three other calls that were text messages asking about the process, the rules, because they're all confused. And Charlie and I bounce things off of each other all the time. To verify, validate, and then if we kind of hung up on something. Oh yeah, hang on. If we hung up on something, oh, you know what? I forgot my. Hang on, let me. If we hang up, we get hang up on something. There you go. All right, share, guys, share. Yeah, so if we get hung up on something, then we go to our go-to person, who is the mayor's chief of staff, Sarah Blaine.
Yep.
And Sarah Blaine is the best resource uh, for anyone if you have questions. Just bar none, Charlie. Would you agree?
I absolutely. I feel bad, especially on the weekends when I have called and I feel terrible because I know she has the twins, the little ones. So, she needs her family time because most of the week she's busy. She
Yeah.
is she is one of the busiest chief of staff that I know of in the state. And I am just so grateful when she does take my call. And so I learned it's best not to call her, but text her
Yeah. Yeah.
because she'll respond quickly and I understand because she can't be engaged with conversation, especially when she's down the EOC or someplace of that nature. But she does a very, very darn good job. She explains it well. I mean, sometimes it's confusing, but it's not her fault. I'm a confusing guy in the first place. You tell me something in plain English, I will I will figure it out in my head in a confusing way. So,
Yeah.
it's no fault of hers.
So,
It's just
so
me.
round of applause, Charlie. Round of applause for Sarah Blaine, mayor's chief of staff.
Hey, round
It's
of applause for you. You were on TV today. You were on Hawaii News Now with Mahealani Richardson, and to the point. I mean, I
you
was
know
in. I saw you had a pretty long spot, all 22 seconds. That's pretty damn
yeah
long.
I was on another Zoom call, and the guy one of the guys that was on the Zoom call put in the posted that he I was on TV at that time. I missed it. I did catch. I don't know if it's the same one. It's probably the same clip. It's a very short clip talking about the complaints that we received. But yeah, but again, getting back to Sarah, she's awesome, and just want to say we are blessed to have our team here on Kauai, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen. We're trying to get on for Wednesday night. We're trying to get Sue Kanoho on to give us some updates, and she's trying to gather the resources, the other people, to see if they all can come together to talk about what's going on. from their part, talking about the Kokua card or the Kauai Kokua card or whatever it is, where they will incentivize the visitors coming off of safe travels to get a second test. But anyway, we'll let Sue explain that along with the chamber and HLTA, hopefully on Wednesday night. But tonight is just a Kapakai night. We're going to talk story. We're going to talk about today's events. We're going to talk about what I did today, Charlie. I went back and I checked all of the Kauai's numbers, and I made a nice little spreadsheet. And I think people are going to be surprised when you see the totals, because we hear the one here, two here, and then we go for a couple of days. But I got the 2 months worth from February 4th till April 2nd, which is two months, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But
Well,
on
you
another
know,
note, bro, I got my vaccine today, bro.
and how was it? Tell me, how was it, brother? How was it?
You know, wh-
Was this the first or second shot? First shot, right?
one shot.
Oh, you got the
Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson, bro.
outstanding, outstanding.
Very few people know, and I'm gonna bare my soul right now,
Okay.
that, Charlie, we were cops. I never had a problem with fear. Never had a problem with fear. It, just like you, Charlie. Most cops have no, you take on your fear head on, and that's how I am. There's very little things that I'm afraid of, except needles, shots. So, my doctor had told me to hold off because of some past reactions. And when the Johnson and Johnson came out, yeah, one and done, Jacqueline, exactly, one and done.
Mhm.
I called back my doctor, and she said she thinks it'll be okay. So I got my registration in, and today was the day. Well, this weekend, while all of you were celebrating Easter, I was having panic attacks and anxiety because I knew this morning at 8:20 I was going to have to go get the shot.
D-Day. Today was D-Day.
D-Day. So
I bet you had this sound pounding in your head as you made your way to the vaccination site. It went something like this. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, tell me, did you have that?
yeah,
Did you have
exactly.
that? Yeah, that's all I
So,
wanted to know.
so Patsy and I, we carpool to work, right? Because she works at the court, I work right across the street. So we carpool every day. This morning she said, "You gonna take your own truck just in case, you gotta come home?" I said, "I'm taking my own truck." In my head, I said, "I'm taking my own truck because if she drives me, then I'm gonna be forced to go. If I take my truck, I can chicken out and I can take off and go home." So, Charlie, I'm driving in. Yeah, that's why she made me sweet bread and soup last night, because she felt so. I was a wreck. Needles, little needles. I'm not afraid of bullets. I'm afraid of little needles. So this morning I get up, I take a shower, I get ready, I'm psyching myself out. Bro, driving to Lihui, I'm thinking, I don't want to take this thing, but I got to take this thing. Everybody needs to get this vaccine. I pull into the parking lot. There, there's a line of people, a long line, all tourists, Charlie, all tourists. I'm thinking, how the hell are these tourists getting a vaccination? Yeah, okay, I'll talk about my side effects. But so I park in the parking lot. I gotta say, the organization at that place is amazing. It is amazing. So I asked the guy, "What's that line?" He says, "That's the line for tourists to get tested to get out of quarantine." Charlie, dozens and dozens of people waiting, and we'll talk about this tonight, because after today, after today, no more that, right? Except, I mean, you still get the carryovers from that are in the bubble that arrived before today, but 3 days from now there'll be no more. second test for visitors. So anyway, they direct me to the table. I am starting to shake. I'm starting to sweat. I go check in. I'm hoping that they tell me, hey, bro, we got one issue. The vaccinations are canceled for today. But no, they take my paperwork. I go, they take me to the next check in. I check in, and then I go in line. And this line is moving quickly, Charlie. As this line is moving, and I'm getting closer to the end of the line where all these people with the happy face signs they put up when these people giving the shots have an open seat, they put up a little happy face sign, and that's how you know it's your turn. So I'm in line, Charlie. All of a sudden, bro, the
Yeah.
worst panic attack you can think of. The worst. I start hyperventilating. I feel like I'm I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I get the mask on. I'm starting to get embarrassed, but I'm freaking out. I pull my mask away from my face so I can take deep breaths, and I'm thinking, I ain't gonna make it. I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna faint pretty soon. And I'm seeing all these happy face signs come. The line is moving too fast for me, Charlie. I'm thinking, shit, I cannot. Now I
Brother,
cannot turn around.
you never go like this, right? Before you went up, you never go, "Oh."
I get up to the I get up to the end of the line, and there's this lady. She says, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm afraid of needles." She goes, "Oh, it's not it's nothing." I said, "No, it is something."
Help me.
And then the lady raises the sticker, the sign, the happy face sign, and I'm sweating. I'm sweating, and I'm breathing. I get my mask out. I'm breathing because I know like pass out.
Brother,
I,
before you go on, people like you who will get one shot, they gotta take you into a dark room where somebody lead you and you can see nothing. Okay, and they just surprise you one time. That's the people like you. What you was going through is like what when they strap somebody in the electric chair and then the minister stay walking away from the guy. That's what you experiencing.
bro, you know,
Anxiety.
we used to get called for alarms, burglar
Right.
alarms. We used to get called. I was first one in. Never had a fear in my life. And today was bad. So now she raises up the little sign with the happy face, like okay, good. That makes me feel better. But she's on the last row. I had to walk through all these people getting shots, all these people, and I try not to look, but the curiosity. I said all these needles going in arms. I get to that lady, and she must have saw I was faint. I looked like I was going down. She says, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, no." Then this other lady comes up and says, "I recognize that voice. Is that you, Mel Raposo?" "Yes, it's me." She goes, "How you doing?" I said, "Not good." It was Kurt Akamine's wife. You know Kurt Akamine from, yeah,
Yeah,
his wife, his wonderful wife said, "You need me to distract you?" "Yes." And then the Wahini who's giving the shots is in military uniform. So she's trying to be helpful. She says, "Hi, are you related to Bill Raposo?" I said, "Which Bill?" Now remember, now I'm freaking out. I said, "Neil's son?" "Yes." I said, "Yeah, that's my first cousin." She said, "That's my grandpa. That's my grandpa." I said, "Well, good, we're related. Don't hurt me." She said, "You're not going to feel a thing." Lie. Had hurt. Had
brother,
hurt.
you're lucky when you came up. The person goes, "Hello, Mr. Raposo. It's not gonna hurt. Okay, We- bring your arm. With your arm." They give you the cockeye and they're looking at you, Mr. Raposo. This will not hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course it's going to hurt. God, that's a needle going in your arm. So Kurt's wife is very nice. She's over there. She's talking to me, and I'm looking at her because I ain't looking at the shot. And then she holds my hand, and she says, "No, it's gonna be over soon." And then boop, I feel them, and then it hurts. And then my cousin's daughter is starting to massage my arm, and it's hurting even. I said, "Hey, it's sore." She goes, "Still yet?" "Yes, yes, it's hurting more now." She goes, "Well, I gotta massage him in."
Brother, you know the worst thing that could happen? This is the worst thing that could happen. You could have woken up and get about 8 people looking at you like this.
Oh man, I tell you, it was all pow. And then, of course, then they escort you down to the arena, not the arena, but the, what do you call that? With all the chairs there, the theater or whatever.
Observation area.
Yeah. So I go down there and I realize, and I'm on my phone and my cup, because of course I took my coffee cup with me. I tell you, I forgot my coffee cup and my phone. So I go all the way back. Now I feel brave because power ready. I go up to the girl, my cousin's daughter, and I say, "Hey, I decided I like when you, can I have seconds? Can I have another shot?" And she goes, "No." Oh, big talk because was power. I go back down. I sit down in the air conditioned arena, or whatever, and it's I'm just waiting for pass out, but I didn't pass out. I waited 30 minutes. I didn't wait 15. I waited the full 30, and I felt good. I felt good, and the had hurt. The pain was there for about. My dad said, "I think I would change my mind taking the shot." No, 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 Daddy. We were in the military. We were in the military. We got shots. It's no different than any other vaccine I've ever taken. So no, Dad, you go get the shot. But anyway, by the time I was part of observation, about 15 minutes, the pain was gone. I left. I went to work. I felt good, and I was very happy that I got the shot. And I'm blessed. And I came home. I started like an onset headache, but I took two Advil. Boom! I feel fine right now. I feel fine. Laurel, yeah, I wanted to do a live feed, but they wouldn't let me take pictures or videos. So otherwise, I would have done it. But yeah, I feel good though. Um, I know uh, see, I lost my train of COVID fog, bro. COVID fog. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, go get your shot, guys. Go get your shot. It's all good. I'm happy that I got them. And oh, I know what I was going to say. Uh, I feel tired. That's the only side effect I think that I'm getting right now is tired. About 4 o'clock I started to get like tired, like I was ready for bed. So so made me some brew and awesome, awesome. I feel good. I feel good that I got the shot, and I'm so proud of all of you guys that went out and got them early on. Um, and I'm thankful for Johnson and Johnson because it's only one. I don't
Brother,
got.
I tell them, I tell them when you first told me about that, I tell the people what I told you about the shot, the one about the placebo.
Yeah, yeah. So Charlie calls me up and he tells me, "Did you see the color of the bottle? Did you see them take the medicine out of the bottle?" I said, "Charlie, I don't look. I was looking everywhere else. I was not going to look at no needle, no syringe, no little. Every time I watch TV on the news, they always why they gotta show the needle going in people's arms. Why they gotta do that? Get people like me out there that deadly afraid. So no, the arm pain, animal arm pain, Nani. The arm pain, it was done from the poke, just from the poke. You know that little. It wasn't even bad. I mean, seriously, it wasn't bad. So Charlie tells me, was the bottle blue or was it white? I said, I never see the bottle. He said, yeah, I just read, I found out that right now, because we're in the testing phase, you got to have the blue bottle because the other one is a placebo. Now, I'm on the phone. I'm not very happy right now, thinking that was no placebo. But why the hell are they testing us and giving them people placebos when you telling them you get in the vaccine? Now I'm getting pissed off, not at Charlie, but at the whoever the hell is giving out placebos. I said, Charlie, no, that cannot be true. He said, no, I just that's you gotta check the color. You gotta check the color before you get the shot. I never check the color. He says, you probably got the placebo. Now I'm mad at Charlie. Now I was mad at Charlie, like, why are you telling me this shit? Don't tell me. Just don't tell me. And then he no could hold back the laugh. What a donkey. That's a friend, guys. That's my friend Charlie. I was thinking, oh, that's wrong. You're on placebo.
No, but you would ask me, I said, no, I think you got the one where they use sugar water. That's why you don't
Yeah,
know.
sugar water. Here's my sugar water. So anyway, you got me, Charlie. You got me good, bro. You got me good.
Well, main thing, main thing, and another thing too. When you after the 30-minute observation, main thing you never walk out and you see a whole group of people looking and you go, there goes Mel Raposo, the one that was getting kind of queasy. There he goes. There he goes. You lucky they never say that.
It was really weird because when I was in line, it's like I never recognized anybody. Like I never knew anybody, and I was thinking perfect because if I faint, nobody gonna know.
Yeah.
I came to one part. I came really close. Like I felt myself. I felt the walls caving in. I thought I was gonna huli, but I never. I made it. I got it. I'm happy. I'm vaccinated, baby. Vaccinated, man.
Right on.
And you know
And
what? I was only joking. I'm not scared of needles. Needles don't scare me.
I
And
tell you this, when I had my open heart, then pretty big, it's still fresh, right? Like the day after.
mhm.
And I just refused to take pain meds. And my wife was getting mad. She goes, honey, take the pain meds. You're gonna feel better. I don't want to be addicted. You know what Queens did? They had my wife occupy me while a nurse was on the other side putting them in the IV. Because I remember talking like, honey, I'm not gonna take no boom down for the count. I wake up. I go, honey, did they serve dinner yet? She goes, baby, it's 2 in the morning. I go, what? But that's what they used to do to me. And so anyway, long story short, we leaving. They're gonna pull all the tubes out. So you want go in your neck, right? The monitor. The show that they go like that. They start pulling the wire out your neck, and I saw had like about 30 feet of wire. I said, where is the wire coming from? That's one. Then they get the two chest tubes. They pull them out. That's another. Then they get your catheter. They don't even knock you out. They just go, okay, hold on, Mr. Europe. Not even hurt. The only thing when hurt when they made the incision, when they cut my chest open, is when they clean them with the alcohol swab. And when that puppy went touch that, I thought I would levitate. I thought I was in a magic show. And I just looked at my wife and I told my wife, honey, I don't ever want to come back. I
yeah,
don't want to come back. That's the only thing I want to jump.
yeah, that's
Proud of
tough,
you,
man.
brother. I am
Tough,
proud of
man.
you. Ladies and
Proud of me
gentlemen,
for what? For being
give
scared?
brother man. No, you made it because I remember you and Needles, you told many of us way before many. And so when you told me, first when you said, oh, your doctor didn't want you getting the shots because adverse reactions, right? Then when you told me, oh, I won't get the shot, I remember you telling me about Needles. I went, oh boy, how are they gonna work this puppy out? I hope they distract you before, but hard for distract when you got to walk by one whole line, whole row of people getting shot at the same time, right?
God. It was just like, yeah, was. But all in all, I can tell you right now, everybody that was working at that line and they're amazing,
Yeah.
amazing organization, all friendly. The lady at the front of the line was sweet. Then I cannot, Kurt Akamina's wife. I apologize, I can't remember her first name, but she was there to comfort me. She was there to hold my hand. She was there to uh, distract me while the needle went in, and it went well. It went well. It went well. So I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
For you, brother, I'm glad they brought in the A team for you because it would take a very special person to administer the shot to somebody like you. So I'm glad. I'm glad.
Uh, you know, Charlie, the girl that was giving the shot, she was in a miller. Like I said, she was in a miller. I have a tattoo. That's why I don't get it. Tattoos. I get 3 tattoos.
Yeah.
Those ones. I don't know why. I'm not afraid to do those, but shots. Anyway, it's something psychological.
But
But
brother,
anyway,
just imagine, you could have somebody say, sit down, Mr. Raposo. Okay. Hi, how you feeling today, Mr. Raposo? You gonna take a shot? You want to take a shot today? Okay. Let's go, Mr. Raposo. Let's take a shot, Mr. Raposo. You could have had somebody give you a shot like that. They could have made matters even worse, but you
yeah,
did it.
yeah. No,
So you-
so far, Nani. So far, no side effects. No side effects. I'm praying that I can get through tonight without any side effects. it's interesting how, regardless of the vaccine, oh, people get sick with Moderna. Every vaccine
Yeah.
operates differently with different people. So I know people that got nothing with Moderna. I know people that got nothing with Pfizer. I know people that got nothing with J&J, and I know people that got side effects from all three of them. So, you just gotta wait it out. And
I know people that didn't get side effects from Moderna, Pfizer, or J&J. Not at all. But I
exactly.
know people that got side effects from Bud Light, Coors Light, Budweiser. I mean, I can pass out. So, it's the roll of the dice. If it happens, it happens. Yeah.
But um, I was very serious about what my doctor wanted me to wait. That wasn't something I was happy that she told me that because he gave me an excuse. But
Hmm.
as we have been doing this show, Charlie, as we have been learning and learning and learning, I realize how important it is for all of us to get the vaccine, especially because today Kauai is now back into safe travel. So I knew I had to get it done, and I asked my doctor, and she said, "Yeah, go ahead and get it." So yeah, it was definitely a conscious choice to get the vaccine as soon as my doctor gave me the okay, and that's what we've been professing to each and every one of you. Don't ask Dr. Kim. Don't ask Dr. Dworkin. Don't ask Dr. Capono. You ask your personal doctor. Your primary care physician knows you better than anybody else, and that's what you should rely on. That's what I did, and yeah, I had to wait a little while, but I got it, and it's worth it, and all of that. So it is what it is. So today, Charlie, we enter back into safe travels.
Mm. Well,
We
first, I'd
enter
like
back.
to extend my biggest thanks. A lot of compliments today, a lot of well wishes, because today, April 5th, makes exactly 1 year that I lost my brother to COVID.
Oh boy.
1 year. But you know what? Because of all the loving messages, I feel good inside because I know he watching me from above. I thought, I wonder if today I'm going to have a real sad day. But, I had a real happy day because I had a nice talk with him. And I said, brother, I think I got to let you go in order for me to fight this battle now full on, throttle up because things are opening up. And you can consider it befitting that we open up on April 5th and then marks his 1 year anniversary. But at the same token, I feel really good. And I'm just so thankful to the people, the friends that we made on the Mel and Charlie show. They gave me a lot of messages today. So I just want to thank everybody. And I really mean it. I don't have one drop of tear. There's no sadness. I am happy because I know in a way, I tell myself, I know my brother doesn't have to live through all of this BS, right? Because it's crazy. It's nuts. And I wish there would have been more answers back then. That maybe we wouldn't have lost 500,000 lives to this virus. Maybe it would be a lot lesser, but it just wasn't in the cards. So I want to just thank everybody. How's that?
Well, Charlie, first of all, yeah, condolences still out there, man. I never met your brother, but I remember how happy you were
Hmm.
when you went and finally got to meet him in Vegas. I remember you
I hit
sharing the story. I remember you sharing the story with me about how you guys found him.
Yeah.
You guys planned to get together, and you guys took pictures. And I remember how happy, Charlie, I remember how happy you were.
Yep. Yep. It
And
was a
then I remember how devastated you were when you found out that he had COVID.
Mhm.
And I remember you taking us on this journey. And when I saw that post today that you posted about the 1 year anniversary, I couldn't help but think, if not for your brother getting COVID and you bringing us, I'm not sure we would be where we're at today as far as the show, the viewers. Your brother, your journey, this journey that you took us on,
Mhm.
made us very aware of COVID from an early point.
Yep.
Had that not happened, Charlie, I don't know how serious we would have taken COVID. I really don't. It was because our relationship with you that that really hit all of us so hard. And we never met your brother. We have no idea who your brother was.
He was
And
he
all
was
of our viewers, most of them which we have never met in our lives,
mhm.
have become our family.
Yep,
And that
exactly.
was because of your brother and what had occurred. So thank you, Charlie, for taking us on the journey, for sharing that very difficult time. I
Mhm.
mean, we all, no one felt it like you did, but there are many of our viewers that have suffered losses. Many of our viewers have had COVID.
Yep.
But this ohana that has been created because of your brother, I gotta say, man, we do this for him, and we do this for all of those that had lost their lives. We do this for all of those that got COVID, they got sick, and are struggling till today. Some of which are on our call right now. I mean, on this show right now, watching.
Yep.
So we thank you for taking us along, Charlie,
You
and
folks.
our hearts go out to you and your entire ohana. Because if not for that, I don't know if we would be here right now. But
Well,
I'm
I
so thankful that we have this ohana
mhm.
from this show that I gotta tell you, man, I love every single person in this ohana. More
Yes.
than they know, Charlie. More than they know. And you have become even, I don't know how much closer brothers can be. We ain't blood, but I feel like you are my brother. Blood
Same
brother. It's
same here.
bizarre.
You know what I learned from this experience, and that is, my wife told me at times, I was a little bit rough around the edges, and she's right. She's right. But one thing I learned from my brother, and that is, like I said, for some reason, I promised him. Well, I did promise him that today I'm going to be cheerful because I'm just going to keep on spreading the word, and that is, it saddens me to think that should we have lost anyone that we've become family with on our show, that probably would have hit me even harder too, because we know what this is about. But meeting Sarah, meeting George, meeting Russell, meeting all of these people that survive, it is so heartwarming to know that they've crossed over and they were able to share the message with all of us. Hey, if you don't like get nailed hard, don't dabble with this stuff, especially like Russell, he never know how the thing went whack him, but oh, the thing went catch him really good, you know what I mean? And to think that one day you're on Kauai, next day you wake up, you're on another island, that's pretty heavy. And so you're right. The family has become very, very close, and I see the messages, and I just want to make sure everybody, hey, if they're saying that, we're heading down that path, okay, but please, we just like be safe. I mean, everybody. I mean, I want to jump for joy, run to the beach, act crazy at times, but you know what? Things are still not safe. That doesn't mean that I cannot go out and maybe have dinner and be distanced properly, wear my mask in a restaurant. Doesn't mean I cannot do that. But to go and think that, okay, all bets are off, take off your mask, don't need nothing, come right up to my face, who cares, right? I'm vaccinated. And to think that I'm gonna be safe, then I got another thing coming, right? But again, it's all because of what I experienced. And thank you for what you said, because I'm glad I was able to share that experience. I was able to share that experience. And folks, what Mel said, it's only me and my wife on Kauai right now. And you folks are all like family, especially the Kauai family. We're all like family. And brother, you are like a brother to me. You're that close. So I gotta keep an eye on you. And only brothers can ditch brothers when they're ready to go get a shot. So just remember, the next shot you go get, I may ditch you again.
Yeah. No, yin and yang, man. Yin and yang. Yin
Yeah.
and yang.
Yep.
So, we talked about the other night, we talked about the train blowing
Yep.
ahead.
Hmm.
We talked about, we tried our best, and it's come to the point now where we have to uh, focus on being safe, all of us. So we can sit here and grumble or whatever, but the bottom line is this, and now, my interview with Mahelani was probably half an hour to get that 20-second soundbite, but we
Was
spoke about a lot about it. And I said, well, I'm not very happy with what's going on. This morning, Charlie, I watched the governor's press conference.
yes.
He's very cautious. He's very cautious. The real frustrating part about the Star Advertiser interviews is as the questions are being posed, the two reporters don't ask the governor. They ask, why are you allowing the lieutenant governor to paint a completely different picture than what the governor is painting? The governor is saying, hey, our our numbers are rising on Oahu and on Maui. I'm not ready to even talk about or discuss with with these passports and changing safe travels. He's not ready because the numbers are still rising. On the other side of the coin, you got the lieutenant governor who's saying, we're ready to open up. We're ready to let you guys use your paper vaccination cards and get and go without a test or quarantine. Those mixed messages are is what's causing a lot of people to lower their guard. And I think that is the becoming a problem. And they need to come out with a message that is consistent. And that's not happening. So what I told Mehalani was, and we talk about this on the show all the time, individual responsibility, all of us, whether you're vaccinated or you're waiting to be vaccinated, you wear your mask, you social distance, you disinfect, wash your hands, and avoid large gatherings, we'll be okay. We'll be as safe as possible. But what's happening, Charlie, and I think if you listen to the morning news and you
Hmm.
hear Lieutenant Governor Josh Green talking, he's talking about how wonderful the numbers are, that we're the best in the country, and that we're immune. You get your second shot for it, you're immune. You can do all of these things.
Can I share something with you right now?
Huh?
I'm going to share something that you did really well when you did that spot. You actually opened up and you did talk about, what's being said by the lieutenant governor and governor.
Was that
Or
on the news?
yeah, what's on the news? Right after that spot, I forgot that other person's name, the news reporter. She talked about the messaging because she brought Blangiardi into the mix because he's adamant he will not back down from tier three. And he says the reason why that the previous administration set up an inadequate tier system because back then there weren't no vaccines. But because there's vaccines now, it shouldn't apply. Well, my only response is, okay, I'll come at him from a third grade level. If that's the case, right, and you're not going to back down from tier three, and I'm not saying you should, and you're saying that because the previous administration set up the tier system that was inadequate because there were no vaccines, then my question is, then why is there still cases occurring now?
Yeah.
Why
And
is and
climbing.
climbing? So why is it? And I'm just talking about Oahu, not no place else, just Oahu. So that's why he should, like today in the news, right? We have double variants in California that's spreading now. There's a total of 7 strains in the United States right now. And then you have that bozo. I'm sorry, I love that lady from the CDC. I think she's very smart. But again, she gave out the warning, that we should be careful. Well, ma'am, you just told everybody, as long as you got vaccinated now, you can travel. You can do domestic travel. You don't have to do this. There's no restrictions, blah, 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 going on. You're the one throwing the message out there to everybody. Hey, have at it. You're safe. And then on the next breath, you start doing that. I'm really afraid, things we gotta watch out, especially during these summer months when it's warm. There's gonna be more gatherings, right? There's gonna be more gatherings. Fauci says, don't let the climate think it's gonna fight this virus. We gotta do our part. He's staying within his lane. But this lady is like, man, one day she's here, the next day she's here. And so I don't know what to think. And you're right. When the governor gave his message, that was one. Lieutenant, that was two. The news report on Hawaii News Now says, ask the governor, why is there a big difference in your messaging?
Yeah. Blangiardi was kind of he's not concerned. He's not concerned about health and safety. He's concerned about business. You
Yep.
know, like Derek always says, our mayor says, you gotta have that balance,
Yep.
and you just want to make sure. You know, Blangiardi says he's more concerned about hospitalizations and deaths. Well, you're gonna get more hospitalizations when you get more cases. You're gonna get more deaths when you get more cases. So to it kind of makes no sense to say we're going to wait until we get hospitalizations rather than say we're going to be safe so we don't have hospitalizations and death. I understand there's a consequence and there's an economic consequence, but he opened everything up. He opened it up, and his opening up of Oahu is a direct has a direct correlation to the number of cases and the spikes.
Yep.
So you know, it's and the problem is I have family, Charlie. You have family. We all have family on Oahu. I worry about them as well.
Mhm.
And so we just got to wait and see what happens. And again, we as individuals do what we got to do tonight and tomorrow and the next day. We got to be vigilant. We cannot let our guard down. We got to follow the rules and be very safe. That's all. And that was kind of my message was let's be safe and we should be okay.
Well, let me ask you this. Since today we opened up one Kauai, there seems to be a bigger confusion. Remember, I called you about the resort bubble?
Hmm.
Well, anybody that landed with a negative test up until yesterday, they have to abide by the resort bubble. They're not grandfathered, right? Because today was a day that the Kauai went back into the safe travel program. So if you landed Sunday, the 4th, with a negative test, you got to go in a resort bubble, right? For
or,
3
or
days.
quarantine or quarantine.
Get out. Yet, I'm kind of wondering. You remember we've been hearing this talk about hotels will take it upon themselves to go test people if they want. Isn't that why we have that so-called Hawaii card or something to that effect? Is to entice people to participate?
Yeah.
So my question is this: how many of our travelers are brave enough, confident enough that once they land, there's no specific when you take that test. It's when you feel like, okay, we'll go take them. That can be one day before you leave for all you care, or that can be the day you land, or it can be 3 days after you land. But just imagine if you're here for 6 days and you take that test. I asked you the question, whoever's administering the test, if they should get a positive, are they obligated to tell the health department here on Kauai? I can't speak for the other islands, but here on Kauai, one, are they obligated to tell the health department that we have a positive test? Two, is that person now required to go into isolation because he had a positive test? Do we know the answers to those questions? Or
Well, yeah. I mean, if you test positive, you go into isolation, and I think that's why it's going to be very difficult to get visitors to take a test. And we'll find out. Hopefully, Sue will be on Wednesday to talk about the program. But I mean, would you, Charlie? Would you? Now, the ones that will take a test are the ones that get so sick that they got to go to the hospital.
yeah,
All the rest will never be tracked, and that's going to be a problem. See, right now in Kauai, with the bubble program, we have that safety net. They take a test after 3 days. We've picked up a few of those positives when they're trying to test out of quarantine, and then they go into isolation. So
mm,
that's going to be a problem, and we're gonna the asymptomatic carriers are the ones that I'm concerned about. because they're going to be out and about in a community and possibly spreading the virus to many of us that haven't, or many people that haven't been vaccinated, or even if they have been vaccinated, they still can pick up and carry the virus and transmit it. So yeah, we're moving a huge part of the safety net, and hopefully this incentive will get them to go take a test.
But
Because if they test positive, they definitely have to be no different than the Big Island, Charlie. You
yeah,
know, these guys arrive.
but remember the Big Island now. They kind of went moved the goalpost several times to come up to a negative test, right?
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, yeah. They keep,
So my question is, if someone does test positive, does that person have the right, because it's being administered by the hotels, it's not being administered by the health professional, but by the hotels, right? That hires a a nurse to administer the test. But should you come out with one of those rapid antigen tests, right, that's been accepted, and you test positive, do you have the right to take a PCR test to see if that's a false positive reading to make sure that you're not positive? And at that point, at whose expense? Because right now, my understanding is the hotels will pick up the cost. Now, if you want to validate whether that hit of positive stands or is a false positive, then the question is somebody got to pay for the more expensive test, correct? And who pays for that? So
yeah.
there,
You know, I want to try to get our mayor and back on the show with Dr. Berriman to try to explain all of these things. Yeah, I wanna try to get that clarified. But you know, right now I think the focus is on uh, how many passengers are going to be coming in and on a daily basis. That would be interesting to hear that. Um, it'd be very interesting to hear that. I had the numbers from February 4th,
okay.
and I went back and pulled all the reports from the. This is just Kauai, people. I don't have the numbers for Oahu. I don't believe them anyway, but I don't have the numbers for Maui, and I don't have the numbers for the Big Island. But the last 2 months, the last 2 months, and this is why I'm concerned about safe travels, because remember now, this is while we are in a bubble system, quarantine system, and these are the numbers we've had in the last 2 months. Total cases on Kauai since February 4th, 2 months ago, is 23. 23 cases. You know, when it's one here, one there, two here, you don't really add them up. And now when you add them all up, it's 23 cases, 11 residents, and 12 visitors. 22 of the 23 positive cases on Kauai travel related. One case non-travel related. 22 out of 23 cases on Kauai since February 4th were travel related. Now, this is the question I have. We have one non-travel related. How you get one? How you get one? Did the virus spontaneously grow in this person's body? Did this person, we know that this person did not travel or had no association with someone that traveled.
Mm-hmm.
But if he or she had got it through the community, Charlie, let's say it was a church or a party or a bar or a restaurant,
Yes.
you would have more than one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Charlie, I mean, you would have more than one community spread.
No, this is what the philosophy behind this reporting is, that if you have one that's not travel related and they can't find out the origin, then that variant is the Adam and Eve variant.
Yeah. Poof. It's here.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
So this is my thing, Charlie. If I go and get tested and I'm positive and I came in no contact with anyone within my circle, my family, my workplace that traveled, that means I picked up that virus from someone that traveled somewhere. You cannot just have one. It's impossible to have just one community spread. But this is the deal, Charlie, and this is why I bring this up, because when you're talking about real-time data, when you're talking about transparency, when you talked about when Dr. DeWorkin was on our show a week or so, 2 weeks ago, and he said the only real-world example we have to follow is Kauai, because we are reporting real-time and reporting everything. 22 out of 23 cases, total cases 23, 22 was travel related. Does that sound like 1 in 1,000 to you? Does that sound like 1 in 1,000 to you?
Nope.
See, the lieutenant governor wants you to believe it's 1 in 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know of all of the cases on Kauai, and this is the same exercise we went through back in October 15th. I expect no different going forward now that we're back in safe travels, but 22 out of 23 is almost 100%. And where that other one, that straggler, I have no clue. But that's not 1 in 1,000. This is real numbers, folks. These are numbers that came straight from the county of Kauai. So I don't care what the Honolulu report says. That's why they'll never release to you folks whether it's visitor, tourist, whether it's travel related or not. I know they tell you you can go look on our website, but the numbers ain't right. This is exactly the numbers for Kauai. And as Dr. Dworkin said, this real world scenario is the best indicator of the safety of this unsafe travels program than any study you can do with people leaving and voluntary testing, randomly selecting people coming off the plane. This is real world. This is real time, and this is real. And that's why I'm concerned going forward.
Let me ask you, somebody brought up a good point. It can be 1 in 1,000 if those 23 that we got, right, during the time frame that they were detected, within that period, that 23, there were 23,000 travelers within that time frame. I don't think there were 23,000 to get 1 in 1,000.
Well, it's 20, yeah. I don't know what the number is.
No, but I don't think.
My point is this, Charlie. I'm not talking about how many passengers, what the percentage. I'm talking about the percentage of. And this is the argument or the debate that we had the last time, where the lieutenant governor is calling our data wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Our data is saying of all the positive cases, how many are travel related. And that is what the lieutenant governor is saying. No, those numbers are inaccurate because of all the positive cases Kauai has seen in the last 2 months, which is 23, 22 were travel related.
Well, this has always been my dilemma in trying to figure these things out. And for the people that are watching, and I'll tell you why I think the way I do. As a traffic investigator, one of the most important things, we have to get this number that tells us what is the amount of friction on the roadway. Some roadways have more friction than others, depending on when the asphalt was laid down, how good is the tire. And so you have to get they call it the coefficient of friction, that amount of resistance. And so the only way we can do it is we cannot just take it that, if we took a sled and we dragged it over this particular surface, we get this number to plug into our speed formula so we can determine at the time of impact what was the vehicle's traveling, right? We can't just assume that, well, a road is a road is a road. So when you get this type of argument that I'm looking at 1 in 1,000, all we were saying back then is to validate your numbers, let's put the drag net out and let's see, right? But no, they were taking a small slice of the pie and saying, this represents the bigger slice of the pie. It cannot be. Because what? Is everybody coming from the same area? No. Is everybody coming at the same time on the same flight? No. Did everybody say they're coming from California? Okay. Are those California residents or they're residents from another state that stopped off in California? You don't know. But what you're doing is you're taking a number and you're keeping it you're keeping it so narrow. And yet you're saying this number is used for the greater, for the greater amount that's to be applied. To me, that's wrong. So I try to look on the side and err on the side of caution, and that is, so how how do we become proactive instead of reactive? So everything we've done is basically have been reactive, right?
Mhm.
Instead of going out and telling the kids, Smokey the Bear says, don't play with matches, you can burn down the forest, right? That's a proactive program to teach kids, don't light matches in a forest that get dry brush because things can get out of hand. Reactive is, well, Smokey forgot to tell you that once there's a fire, call for help because it's too late. It's already started. You need to call for help, right? To me, that's a reactive attempt at that. And I don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I want everybody to stay safe, but like telling everybody to stay safe is one thing. Now the question is, on a daily basis, on say, let's take an island like Lanai, for instance, small population, right? How many people on Lanai use masks every day? That would be pretty easy to tell because you got a small population. Now let's move to Oahu. And I still question the people that's counting. Remember those people from, I guess, what, UH that was doing that study about mask wearing, where they say
Mhm.
that Hawaii was at least about what? You were just standing around and just watching, okay, 1, 2, well, in 1 hour, you already picked 50 people. So what you can do is you can say that 50 people are using masks and use that same formula for the entire island. If you was to say, well, let's spread it out, let's make it more broad. No, because one of our viewers said, I never seen none of them count us down in Nanakule, counting if the local people was wearing masks.
Yeah. Yep. No, you can stop responding to Hannah Banana. I blocked her or him or whatever that is. Um, you know, you don't need to say use the F word on this on the thread and to allege that the government is behind COVID and that the government is changing your DNA. Start your own show, Hannah. Start your own show, Hannah.
Yeah.
So
Hanna-Barbera, I think that's the one that did the cartoons, eh?
yeah, Hannah Banana.
Yeah, Hannah Banana. That's the
Hannah
one.
Banana is gone, has left the building. I don't have a problem with differing opinions, but you don't need to drop the F bomb. Don't need to drop the F bomb. So anyway, yeah, I also want to make sure I know I said it earlier, but 11 of those 23 cases were residents, 12 were visitors. So it's a 50-50 split, guys. This is not intended for to bash tourists because it's not just tourists. It's residents that are flying off
Mhm.
to go to the mainland and coming back and coming back and with the virus. So it's not. This isn't at all intended to go after visitors. I'm just saying that the travel, our cases on Kauai anyway, and maybe Honolulu is different. Maybe Maui and everybody else is different. But for Kauai, almost 100% of our cases are travel related. Now we sweat bullets as we open up. And I saw somebody post, Charlie. Maybe you have the answer to this. I don't know. That the testing that's available,
Mhm.
do they pick up the variants or the mutants? I'm not sure. That's some research I got to do. But
A rapid antigen test, my understanding is no, it doesn't. But again, that's a decision that was made by the hotels. If we're talking about Kauai alone, and I don't know what the other ones were, but I think there's a new rapid antigen test that just came out, and I read up about it. And it sounds good. It's a red formula, and usually they apply it to French fries. Is when you eat the French fries, the thing will pick up the. It's tomato based. I know I'm making fun because brother, you asking me something like I don't know about the
No,
variant.
I know you keep up on this stuff, and I usually do, but I that's one I never thought about, and but
Well,
that's a very good question because if we're relying on a test that doesn't pick up a variant, then it's useless,
no,
especially
but the variant
like it,
test to be done at the state lab because they do the genome sequencing, right? And
right.
I don't believe, I mean, it's the way the process done it. I don't believe that these test kits, this rapid antigen test kits, goes through those phases. It's just, some of it like the cards, right? You give a sample on the card,
Yeah.
you break the thing, and then thing your reaction, and bingo, it tells you positive or negative. I think genome sequencing is just a lot more complicated than that. So I don't,
Yeah.
honestly with you, I don't
I
think,
was just curious though. Can you test? Can you test? Will every variant trigger a positive result in the tests that we have available for the pre-flight, the pre-travel testing? Are the variants and the mutations that are floating around? I realize that you need to do the sequencing to determine which variant, but my question was, will the test that these guys are doing at the spit test from Hawaiian Airlines, is it possible that it would not trigger a positive response on a variant, but would on the original strain of COVID? That was the question that someone just posted. So I would think that it is because it's still a COVID virus. It's just a variant, but we'll pose that to an expert and try to get the answers. It's a good question. The,
I
the
think,
problem still lies though, Charlie, as you talk about all the time, right? You take a test today, you get 3 days gallivanting, working, shopping, wherever you live, and then you get on that plane and you get in a tube with 200 people. You go through TSA, and how many of you, how many of you saw any social distancing at the airports? How many? How many of you? So, from the time you took that test from wherever you're at on the mainland, and you come through 3 days of work, whatever school, and then you get at the airport, deal with that conditions, get on an airplane, come off the airplane, through TSA again, and through your screening process, no social distancing. How many of them can guarantee that that test result is even accurate? That's the question.
right, right.
So
Well, I
we
think
will find out shortly.
the only thing that I did want to say, and I've been kind of like beating this drum, is to bring up the fact that, well, there's a lot of things that can be asked, right? And we try to stay on the rails. We try not to go too much to the left, too much to the right. But we just try to be very focused for what it applies to, and that is coming into the state of Hawaii. You and I've said this before. Since they open up, you're right. We can learn to coexist with what we need to. But in order for the program to be successful and in order for everything to work, and I use this word very lightly, in succession, everyone has to abide by the same set of rules. Until that can be accomplished, you cannot have so differing variables. That is, one set uses mask, while the other set doesn't, but uses social distancing, right?
Yep.
Because I had a question posed to me, and I was looking around, and I think it happened. There was a reported case of that the restrictions were going to be loosened for people who have been vaccinated, that they can now eat in lunchrooms together, as long as they've been vaccinated, right? But guess what happened? Because the messaging was so broad and not defined, they had other employees who didn't get their vaccination yet sitting in that same room with those who were vaccinated, not using masks because the vaccinated ones were told they can sit in the lunchroom without having to use masks. So then they got these ones that weren't vaccinated. And one of those came into the lunchroom that had contaminated over the weekend. and came out positive from the reading. So now that whole program about congregating in the lunchroom all got to stop again. Because why? Somebody really didn't look at the rules carefully enough. And that says, in order to participate, you have to be vaccinated. So it's stuff like that now, what we're talking about. When people are just, I mean, if there's 12 steps that you need to finish to get to your final destination, you need to complete all 12 steps. You cannot be going from 1 to 6 and then jumping off the rails and say, well, I'm here, I'm finished. No, you're not, because you are going to get problems. And lo and behold, that's what happened.
Well, we are entering for Kauai anyway. I mean, I think you folks on the other islands have already seen the Safe Travels program, and so we're going to find out on Kauai, and Kauai is, you know, because the way we report, we're going to know right away. The only problem though is Kauai is going to have an amazing contact tracing program in place, because remember, prior to today, people would get tested or they would quarantine, and they would quarantine, you know, if they got sick, they would go get tested or whatever. But
Right.
the quarantine, at least we'd have the bubble resorts would get tested, whether they symptomatic or not. Now, the only way we're going to pick up a positive is if they get sick enough when they go to the doctor. So all of the symptomatic carriers that would have been identified with the testing, after the third day testing, we're not going to have that no more.
Right.
So it's going to be very important that when someone gets sick enough to get a test, or they decide to go take a risk, get the incentive card, and go get a test, and we have a positive, it's going to be critical that the contact tracing is 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 totally on top of it. Otherwise, we're going to miss a whole bunch. You know how, Charlie, how you always talk about we got to go back to find out where, and some experts say no, we're going to go forward to prevent the spread. But in this case, these are visitors that are taking a test because they're sick. We know where they're going. They're going to the hospital or they're going to isolation. It'll be more important now to go back, find out where they've been, which restaurants, which bars, which activities.
Mhm.
And that is, I'm not sure we have that capability. And that is something that we're going to have to be really careful, tracing back this infection to where. Was it on the plane? Was it at the hotel? Was it, you know, and that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
That's going to be the challenge.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And but hey, gang, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. You know, we're right at the top of the hour. We did a lot of discussion. We had a really good fun time at the beginning talking about my brother's reaction to needles. Thank you, Mel. Again, thank you to all of those of you out there that have sent your messages uh, to myself and to our family. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for that. And to discuss what we're faced with now, we opened today, Kauai. Today's only the first day, but we just have to sit back and hoping that, and you know, like Mel and I, we've always said, we got to hope that we're wrong, because it'll be good that if we're wrong, then that means that everything will be fine. But again, you know, I'll admit, I have a little doubting Thomas in myself, and then I just want to wait and see. Wait and see. I do want to give a shout out to one of our viewers who brought it to my attention that today I saw the same thing. I know what you're talking about, my dear. Went on the state website to look at the cases, and I thought I saw the number 196, and she thought she saw the same thing too. When we went back, the screen froze, and then the current numbers came up. So we don't know where the 196 came from. So many are asking, were we supposed to have a total count of infections for the state of Hawaii at 196 today? And the answer is, I know what I saw. I know this person knows what they saw, but it's no longer there. So I guess we'll never know. But if it's The lack of transparency, anybody's guess, right? So I hope you
Wow.
have a great, great day today and have even a greater week. And we'll see, I will see you on Wednesday, hopefully. But if not, I'll see you tomorrow on Facebook. Uh, I'll find something to post.
Right on. Well, Wednesday, we're trying to get Sue Kanoha and her team back out to share about what's going on. But again, I hate beating a dead horse, but I will. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, avoid the big gatherings, and if you haven't received your vaccine, please consider getting the vaccine. Now, I respect everybody's choice, whether you want to get it or not, but if you are on the fence, I suggest getting the vaccine to keep everyone safe, yourself and others. So that's my closing comments for tonight, guys. We love you folks. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Stay safe, and spread the word, spread aloha. And you guys take care. God bless. We love you guys. All right.
Love you, brothers. Take care now.
I love you too, man. Take care.